but at the end of the day, it might, might hurt a coach or something. A coach might be butt hurt or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's important about making other people proud, but I think it's internally doing what's best for you and what's best for you. And sometimes what's best for you might not always be what's best for, the team that you just played for and stuff like that, because, you could have, we've all on the same team. We all contributed in some certain way, and everyone does on the team. And it just, some people have a little bit bigger pieces than others in that scenario. So I think it's in any sort of transfer, anybody who's on the fence about it, I think it's important to sit back and also be a devil's advocate for yourself and be like, I think Debra put a good, pretty picture on it, was like, do I leave? I'm already on full scholarship. Do I leave and I risk, hey, I might actually have to go pay for school or do all these other things, or do I do the safe thing? And sometimes it's good to take calculate a risk. Do you guys, what would be your kind of biggest advice to anybody who's even thinking or contemplating, or even people who are just like, just outside information or inside information that maybe the public doesn't know about, like the transfer portal and what goes into the transfer portal decision making and stuff like that? What's your biggest advice you would give to anybody about that?
I think my biggest advice would be get your information. One, talk to admissions, make sure how many years of eligibility you got, because that's huge. Two, make sure you have your highlight tape ready, because if you enter the portal and you don't have your highlight tape ready, how are you going to put yourself out there? And then that's going to delay your response from coaches and stuff like that. So my biggest advice probably would be just be on top of your game and make sure that you're 100% bought into the decision, that you have all your information that you need to do. Make sure you research, look up colleges that you're interested in, look up coaches, find their Twitters, find their Instagrams, find their emails. And then once you do enter the portal, you have to put yourself out there more than you have ever in your life. I probably DM'd over 1,000 coaches, and only maybe a couple hundred answered, maybe 100 answered. But you have to hit up everybody that you possibly can, because you never know that one coach might give you the opportunity. So just pretty much reach out to as many coaches as you can, get as much information from these schools as you can, and sell yourself. You're your biggest promoter.
Correct. Maison, what would you be your kind of biggest advice to anybody? You've been around the game for a while. What do you think is your biggest advice to anybody thinking about it or who doesn't know about the transfer portal?
I would say know your facts, like know everything that you've done, everything that you can do, definitely make sure that, as he said earlier, make sure that you're your biggest promoter. Like nobody is going to fight for you to have a shot as much as you. Nobody's going to sleep but you, for you. Nobody wakes up for you but you. You have to do what you can to make sure that everybody that you want to see you can see you. But aside from that, I'll say to make sure that you have your highlight tape done before you get into the portal. Because as he said, it can definitely delay your processes. And I didn't release my tape until about a week after I was in the portal. So, I still got good feedback before and after driving my highlight tape, but nonetheless, I could have maximized it had I done it when I was supposed to, instead of after the fact playing catch up. So make sure you're on top of yourself to get your stuff done for you.
What would you guys say, like from an academic side? Because we all understand the football side of things, like having that tape, like it is a big piece, but the other, like I would say, people say it's 50-50, but I'd call it more, football is probably 75 and academics 25% when it comes to like, coaches, because you actually have to be eligible and be able to get into the school to an extent. But what would you say is like your biggest, advice academically for anybody in the transfer portal or anything?
Obviously, the higher GPA is, the more opportunities will come your way, because you'll be able to get into that school or whatnot. However, I didn't have the best GPA, but I was always eligible, and I always held over a 2.5 or higher. So, I always strive to get better grades than that, but like you definitely have to have a decent grades to get looked at. Because I know I probably missed opportunities from different schools based off my GPA not being a 3.0 or higher than that, like a 2.8. Something like that. So honestly, the higher your GPA is, just stay on top of your school, because it'll help your process a lot easier than having a low grade and then have to fight in like getting into schools. Will be very difficult if you have a low grade.
I agree with everything that he said. Academics are a crucial factor. As you said, 25-75. I agree with the percentage. That 25 is everything. you miss it, that's not passing anything in, especially a master's class.
Yeah.
So I would just say make sure that you have to make sure that you do what you need to do when you need to do it, ahead of when you need to do it, really.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it the day that is due, chances are you're turning it in late, and that's doing nothing but hindering you from what you could really be doing.